Mobb Deep incident, man, we had did a record together, me, Prodigy, and Cool G Rap, you know what I'm saying? And we had a little buzz going with the record and then played itself and spit the verse on another record, you know what I'm saying? Guess he wasn't that talented and when it spit the verse on another record when we paid him for that verse already, so we ended up getting to a little controversy. Ended up taking it there, man, ran in the studio with 9 guns, two shotguns.
Running with Uzis and shotguns and guns.
You know, slapped a few cats up.
This other kid over here, they pistol whipped him.
Sent him home naked and all that.
They didn't even look at me. They didn't even look at Jizza. You know what I mean?
A few of your favorite rappers was in there. You know what I mean? At gunpoint with guns to their face and shit. But it ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no drama with them.
When it comes to New York rap beefs, most fans only remember the famous ones. Jay-Z versus Nas, 50 Cent versus J. Rule or Dipset versus the LOX. But there's one that doesn't get enough attention. One that was way grittier, more personal, and straight up disrespectful than most people realize. I'm talking about Mobb Deep versus True Life. A Queensbridge and Harlem collision that got real ugly both in the booth and in the streets. This wasn't just rap, this was ego, survival, and territory colliding in a city where respect is everything. And once the smoke cleared, the damage was deeper than any diss track could explain. To understand how it all started, you gotta rewind to the mid-2000s. That weird time in hip-hop when the streets were shifting and the industry was starting to change. Mobb Deep, made up of Prodigy and Havoc, were already certified legends by then. They came from Queensbridge, the same projects that gave us Nas, Cormega, Nature, and Capone and Orega. And they put that neighborhood on the global map. In the 90s, they made street rap sound cinematic. Songs like Shook Ones and Hell on Earth weren't just hits, they were anthems. Prodigy's voice, Havoc's beats, that dark energy, it was New York in its purest form. But by 2005, things were different. The sound was changing, the South was taking over, and the game was less about raw bars and more about commercial power. That's when Mobb Deep made a move that shocked everybody. They signed with 50 Cent's G-Unit Records. Now at first, it sounded like a power play. G-Unit was one of the biggest movements in hip-hop. 50 was dominating radio, video, and the streets at the same time. But for a lot of die-hard New York fans, that move didn't sit right. To them, Mobb Deep were supposed to be the heart of underground Queens, the cold, gritty storytellers. Joining G-Unit made it seem like they were chasing clout, trading their edge for industry protection. That's where True Life stepped in.
Come see us, man. Come right here, man. We be right out here. If you want to jump with us, we right here, son.
Whoa.
Never stop. The war's on 24/7. Make no mistakes.
He treated me like I was some funny style nigga. I tried to holler, he played games, so I had to wake him up, let him know what I was about, you know what I mean?
True Life, real name Roberto Rosado Jr., was a Harlem rapper with a reputation for calling out fakes, the type who didn't care about industry politics. He was signed under Jay-Z's Rock La Familia, which made him part of that next wave of New York artists who wanted to restore the city's dominance. But True wasn't playing nice. He was aggressive, loud, and confident. The kind of dude who'd look another rapper in the eye and call him soft if he felt that energy. He was known to move around the city heavy, with Harlem behind him, and he was slowly earning a rep as a new voice of authenticity. So when Mobb Deep joined G-Unit, True Life saw it as a betrayal of everything New York stood for. To him, it was like seeing legends bow down to corporate power. During interviews, True started throwing shots, saying Mobb Deep lost their identity the moment they stood next to 50 Cent. He said, "Them Queens dudes used to be grimy. Now they out here looking like background dancers for 50. That line alone sent shockwaves through the city. You gotta remember, back then, dissing Mobb Deep was almost like dissing the streets themselves. Prodigy was respected in every borough, not just for his music, but for how real his lyrics were. But True Life wasn't scared. He doubled down and dropped a diss record called The New New York. That track was straight fire and full of venom. He came for Mobb Deep's integrity, mocking their G-Unit deal and questioning their toughness. He rapped, "You run with 50 now, but where your heart at?" He even accused them of selling out Queensbridge's street code for money and fame. The track was disrespectful, but catchy, and fans started talking. For a young Harlem rapper to come at Mobb Deep like that, it was bold. And the craziest part? He didn't stop at lyrics. He brought proof. Rumor has it True Life and his crew ran into Mobb Deep affiliates in the city and managed to snatch one of their chains, a major sign of disrespect in street culture. Before long, photos of that chain started popping up online. True posted it, laughing, and captioned it like a trophy. The internet wasn't what it is today, but word spread fast. Queensbridge was furious, because in New York, you don't play with another man's chain. That's not trolling, that's war. And for Prodigy, who was already known for having a short fuse, that was a line True Life should have never crossed. At first, Havoc tried to play it cool, brushing it off as internet talk. But behind the scenes, things were bubbling. Mobb Deep wasn't used to being clowned. They were the ones rappers feared. And now a younger artist from Harlem was making memes before memes even existed, mocking them, calling them washed, and parading their jewelry around the city. That wasn't rap beef anymore. That was humiliation. And in New York, humiliation demands retaliation. By this point, 50 Cent started hearing about it too. Word is, he wasn't happy that his new signees were being laughed at online. G-Unit had a reputation to maintain, and getting your chain taken was a bad look for the brand. So now you had Queensbridge pride mixed with G-Unit ego, and Harlem heat on the other side. The stage was set for one of the most disrespectful feuds of that entire era.
No, I met him through a mutual friend in high school. You know what I mean? I got to the high school before him, the high school art design in Manhattan. You know what I mean? Then my junior year, he came in.
Q-Tip, man, like brought us into the Def Jam office and started introducing us to people, and that's when we started going to a lot of industry functions, a lot of parties, and meeting other people.
After True Life dropped the New York and started flashing that chain, New York felt the tension. You could feel it in the air. Barbershops, corners, and radio shows all talking about it. People couldn't believe this young Harlem cat had the nerve to violate Mobb Deep, especially Prodigy, who had built a reputation for being fearless. But True wasn't just talking tough. He was moving with that Harlem energy, wild and confident, backed by a crew that really stood on business. Mobb Deep tried to keep it cool publicly, but the humiliation was loud. Back then, getting your chain snatched wasn't just disrespect, it was career suicide, especially in New York, where reputation means everything. Rappers could survive a flop album, but not getting punked on the streets. And True made sure everyone knew he had the upper hand. He went to radio interviews laughing about it, saying, "I got these G-Unit dudes scared to walk through Harlem." He kept taunting, saying Mobb Deep wasn't built like that anymore. That once they signed to 50, they turned into industry gangstas. Now let's keep it real. This wasn't just random street beef. There was a bigger picture. True Life was running with Jay-Z's Rock La Familia, and Jay was known for being strategic. Around that time, Jay-Z and 50 Cent weren't exactly cool. 50 had been taking shots at the Rock years before, and now one of Jay's artists was going at one of 50's signees. It had fans wondering, was this beef personal or was it chess? Was True Life acting on his own, or was he a pawn in a much bigger industry war? Meanwhile, Prodigy wasn't letting that disrespect slide. He started addressing it in interviews and hinted at revenge in his verses. He said, "You can keep that chain, it came with a curse." It was subtle but powerful, like he was saying, you might have the jewelry, but you just invited bad energy. Still, behind the scenes, he was furious. People close to him said P wasn't even sleeping right. That situation had his pride bleeding. Because for someone like Prodigy, who came from Queensbridge, where you had to fight for respect every day, being made a clown online was the ultimate insult.
The opportunity was there because my father was a DJ, you know what I mean? So he used to have a lot of old records around, you know, laying around. And then when I met Prodigy, you know what I'm saying? His grandfather was a jazz musician.
Then came a moment that really made things dangerous. Word got out that Mobb Deep's camp was actively looking for True Life. They wanted payback, not just through music, but in person. Rumors started flying that both crews almost crossed paths outside a Manhattan club one night. Some people said fists flew, others said guns were pulled. But either way, it didn't end pretty. Police presence started tightening up around both camps, and insiders said 50 Cent's team told Mobb Deep to chill before the label caught heat. But Prodigy wasn't built to chill. He wanted blood. On top of that, True Life just kept pushing buttons. He recorded freestyles calling Mobb Deep washed-up sidekicks and saying they hid behind 50's name. One line went, "Y'all used to be shook ones, now y'all just shook." That line had fans laughing, but the streets knew it was dangerous. Every time True talked, it was like he was daring Mobb Deep to respond. And once 50 Cent got wind that someone from Harlem was clowning his artist, the situation got even tenser. Behind the scenes, 50 Cent's camp reportedly reached out to Jay-Z's people, trying to cool things down before it got ugly. But by that point, it was already personal. Harlem and Queens had drawn their lines, and nobody wanted to look soft. The beef wasn't on wax anymore. It was in the city's DNA. Everyone wanted to know who would blink first, the young Harlem wildcard or the Queensbridge veterans who'd built their names on fear.
And them too, because they've been talking a lot of shit. I got them. I got songs to them. I got this song called When We Ride on Our Enemies. You barely living. Don't you got sickle cell? See me have a seizure on stage. You ain't living well. Hell, how many want to be involved? See, I was only talking to Biggie, but I'll kill.
By 2006, the True Life versus Mobb Deep beef had reached full-blown chaos. Every week there was a new rumor, a confrontation here, a diss there, someone getting checked, someone getting pressed. And it wasn't just talk, the tension was real. Mobb Deep, now part of Unit, had backing and security, but True Life had Harlem behind him, and he wasn't afraid to move around the city with that confidence. The craziest part? Most fans didn't even know half of what was going on behind closed doors. This beef got physical, disrespectful, and borderline career-ending. It all started spiraling after True Life did another radio interview where he doubled down on the chain situation. He claimed Mobb Deep tried to get it back through middlemen, offering to make peace, and True laughed at the idea. He said, "Ain't no peace when you get violated like that. They know better." That statement hit hard because it wasn't just a threat. It was him saying the damage was permanent. Word around the city was that Mobb Deep's people were furious and things were ready to explode. Meanwhile, Prodigy started putting his feelings into his music. On certain records and interviews, he dropped subliminals aimed at True, calling him an internet gangster and a loudmouth puppet. He never said his name, but everyone knew who he meant. P wasn't gonna let True Life define the story, and he made sure fans knew Mobb Deep still ran Queensbridge. But it didn't help that G-Unit was catching heat at the same time. People were saying 50's crew was falling apart, that their power was slipping. So when Mobb Deep got humiliated, it made the whole camp look vulnerable. And that's what True Life wanted. He was making a statement. He didn't just want clout, he wanted to show the city that old legends could bleed. He was tired of hearing about rappers acting untouchable. To him, Mobb Deep represented that old wave. Respected, yes, but disconnected from the streets. True was bringing that new Harlem energy, fast money, fearless talk, no filters. It wasn't about who had the better bars anymore. It was about who had the streets' respect.
I made the phone call. I made more than one phone call. I was calling these kids for over a month, 2 months. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling everybody. I'm calling their manager. I got my manager calling. I got this one calling, that one calling. And you know, they was just showing me no respect.
He treated me like I was some funny style. Got shot to Holly, played games, stopped. So I had to wake him up, let him know what I was about. You know what I mean?
But here's the twist. All that energy came back around. Not long after, True Life's career took a sharp turn. He got caught up in a serious case that ended with him behind bars for years. The same street life that fueled his confidence became the thing that stopped his rise. Meanwhile, Prodigy was also fighting his own battles, facing legal issues and eventually serving time too. It was like both sides got swallowed up by the same streets they were trying to represent. When Prodigy got locked up, the beef lost momentum, but the bitterness stayed. Interviews years later showed he still held resentment. In his book, My Infamous Life, Prodigy mentioned the True Life situation briefly, calling it some clown's asterisk T, but you could tell it still bothered him. He never forgot that moment, that chain photo, that mockery. Even when he matured and focused on bigger things, that bruise never fully healed. As time passed, New York changed. The new generation of rappers came in. $1 AP Mobb, Joey Bada $, Pop Smoke, and the old beefs faded. But for those who lived through that era, Mobb Deep versus True Life was one of the last real street beefs. before everything moved to social media. It was the kind of conflict where people actually got touched, reputations got stained, and the city was divided by borough loyalty. Queensbridge never forgot. Harlem never apologized.
Being a man is learning how to swallow your pride. And I guess that's one time that I slipped, and men make mistakes. You know, we're human beings. And I slipped and I made a mistake, and I didn't swallow my pride that time. My pride got to me, and it was too big. I kind of almost choked on it.
By the time both men got out and tried to rebuild, hip-hop had completely changed. Prodigy came home from prison more spiritual, more reflective. He started talking about growth, discipline, and knowledge. A far cry from the angry young rapper who used to jump headfirst into beef. When he was asked about the true life situation later, he didn't entertain it much. He said, "We all young and dumb at some point. It was what it was." But you could hear it in his voice. That era left scars. True Life, on the other hand, came home years later and took a different route too. He apologized to some of the people he dissed and said he wanted to move past the negativity. In interviews, he admitted that the beef with Mobb Deep and others might have slowed down his career. He said, "I was too busy trying to prove I was real instead of just making music." That was the first time fans saw him humble about it. But still, when people bring up Mobb Deep, that memory of him holding the chain always comes up. It's part of hip-hop history now. The truth is, the Mobb Deep versus True Life beef wasn't really about one chain or one song. It was about ego, timing, and the clash between generations. Mobb Deep represented the golden era, the gritty lyricists who survived the 90s and built New York's legacy. True Life represented the street era rebrand, rappers who didn't care about fame or industry rules, just dominance. When those two energies met, it was bound to explode. Even though they never officially squashed it, the beef taught a lesson. In this game, respect is currency. Once you lose it, you spend the rest of your career trying to buy it back. For Mobb Deep, that moment was a reminder that even legends can be tested. For True Life, it was a lesson that clout fades, but consequences last forever. After Prodigy's tragic passing in 2017, the beef was finally laid to rest in silence. True Life actually paid his respects, saying he always admired Mobb Deep's music, even if things got ugly. It showed growth, that even in hip-hop, old enemies can mature. And fans finally got to see both sides as human. Two men shaped by the same streets, caught up in a culture that rewards conflict more than peace. Looking back now, the Mobb Deep and True Life feud stands as one of those rare New York stories where pride outweighed profit and street energy overpowered logic. It was raw, unpredictable, and real. A piece of hip-hop history that reminds everyone that in New York, beef don't start in the booth, it starts in the heart. And once it leaves the mic, it's hard to control where it goes. So yeah, this wasn't just another rap beef. This was two different eras of New York colliding. Old school versus new hustle, respect versus relevance. And when it was all said and done, nobody really won. The music paused, the city watched, and another chapter got written in the history of hip-hop's coldest streets.